What can become a turning point in the woman mind who wants to change her life? What the great action should be taken to achieve success?
I would say if a woman really wants to really make a change in her life, first of all, it's not a doing. The first thing that needs to happen is, and this is actually from science proven in transformation, that she first needs to make that decision. She has to decide that what she is doing today is not going to get her where she wants to be in the future. So once she has that realization, that aha, or that, okay, I've decided I am going to make a change because what I'm doing today is not going to get me to my dreams and my goals and my aspirations, that's the first step. Then from there, you have to go out and you got to get some education. You got to learn about whatever it is you want to do. And I would say this, for me, for change to happen, I look first inside. I work on me. Not anything outside, no one outside. If I want a change to happen in my life, it starts here. So I'm very big on, I do a lot of what I call personal development and developing of myself and really understanding the thoughts and the emotions that go on in me. So I would say number one, first you've got to decide that yes, I'm going to make that change. Then you also have to be willing to do what it takes to make that change. But then I think it all starts here. It starts with you. So for things to change, first I must change.
Is it realization of woman in business is necessary component of her happiness?
Every woman has to decide for herself what will make her happy. For me, I hated being told what to do, and I loved my freedom. So I actually was fired not once, but twice from my first job after college. And I knew then that I really didn't do well as an employee and working for somebody else, so I wanted my own business. Not every woman should be an entrepreneur. You got to look at what it is that you want to be doing. What is it that brings you joy? What are your goals? What are your aspirations? Because the definition of happiness for every single person is going to be different. And again, the happiness comes from inside, not outside. So for me, becoming an entrepreneur was a natural selection because I hated being told what to do. I did not work well with bosses, and I have a love of business. I always have. My love has been primarily marketing and getting the business started. The startup is the most creative, the most fun. I love it. So you got to look at what it is you love and what is the purpose for you doing what it is you're going to do. Because if it is a business, I say every business must have a purpose. And the purpose typically for an entrepreneur is to solve a problem. So we look for problems to solve and create a business around that. For the Rich Dad Company, when we started it in 1996, our mission statement was to elevate the financial well-being of humanity. The problem we wanted to solve is that there was no financial education taught in school. So we created the cash flow game, we created our books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Rich Woman, a myriad of things in order to solve the problem of no financial education in school. So you got to look at what it is you want to do and understand what's going to bring you joy, and is there a greater purpose in what you are going to pursue.
All your dreams come true. What is driving you now?
I'm still driven by our mission and by our purpose. Again, the mission of the Rich Dad Company and a Rich Woman is to elevate the financial well-being of humanity. And for me, I must keep learning, because if I'm learning, then I'm growing. And I learn by maybe studying and then go take action, because no true learning happens, no real change happens until you go out there and actually take action. So for me, I know I always want to keep getting better. I want to keep improving. I want to keep growing. So what drives me is to keep doing things that challenge me to move forward and to grow. Because otherwise, if I just start to keep doing the same old thing, it's going to be really boring. I'm going to get real frustrated, and there's nothing, either you're going to grow or you're going to die. So I'm not ready to die yet. So I'm going to keep growing.
Kim, could you tell us 3 mistakes you made on your way and which helped to become successful? 3 mistakes which gave you valuable knowledge and skills which led you to successful. Thank you.
I make mistakes every day. The number one mistake I made was thinking that mistakes were bad and trying to avoid making mistakes. Because as we know in school, you're not supposed to make a mistake. If you make a mistake, you get punished. You get an F. You get a slap on the wrist. It's like in school, you get punished for making a mistake. You're taught to get the right answer. You're taught to memorize, which is not learning. It's not true learning. So the biggest mistake I made originally was thinking that mistakes were bad. Mistakes actually in my world, especially the world of entrepreneurship and investments, mistakes are great, because when I make a mistake, even though I don't like making mistakes, when I make a mistake, it just shows me something I didn't know. So when I make a mistake, I now look and go, what's the lesson? What do I need to learn here? And then I can use that mistake to get smarter and to get bigger. So mistakes are great, and I would say make more mistakes and make mistakes faster. Learn from the mistakes, because that's how we grow. If you look at a child who learns to walk, she stands up, she falls down. She doesn't go, oh my God, I fell down, I made a mistake, I'm a failure. No, she gets back up, she crawls up there and she tries it again, she falls down. And she gets up there and she keeps doing it until she's walking. That's how human beings are designed to learn. By going out there, taking action, making mistakes, learning from the mistakes, and growing from the mistakes. So that's the biggest mistake I ever made. One other mistake I've made is that when I looked back over my life, and the highs and the lows, there was a common denominator. And that common denominator was I didn't trust myself in the situation. So I either turned all responsibility over to somebody else, I thought somebody else could do it better than me, I looked for teachers that weren't real teachers. Basically, I didn't trust myself. So that mistake, what I learned from it is that if I'm going to undertake anything, I better get smart. I better learn. I better study. I better practice. So every mistake has a valuable gem in it. So you got to look for that gem, and then that mistake can be one of the greatest things that can happen. So make more mistakes and make them faster.
How to become a $1 million wife? What does a woman have to change in her mind through actions to support her man correctly? Thank you.
Well, that's an interesting question. I'm not a believer of a traditional back to the 1950s where she's at home cooking and cleaning and he's out making the money. That's never been my kind of life. Robert and I are life partners, and the word is partner. And he supports me to have what I want, to do what I want, and I support him to have everything he wants and to do what he wants. We support each other in growing and learning together. So I would look at the relationship that you want. And what is the relationship that you want in life? Because for me, I can be very selfish, and I know that my dreams, and I know my goals, and I know my aspirations, and I want a partner that's going to support and encourage me and push me to achieve those. And I want to do the same for him. So that would be my ideal of how best to support one another in a marriage, is to support each other in having everything you want. That to me is, that's what I do.
Could you describe your usual working day? What do you do? What key events during the day have an influence on your successful and development?
I have no set routine every day, but there is one thing I do pretty religiously, and it's my morning ritual, my morning routine. And so I mentioned I do a lot of work on myself. So I'll start by reading. Here's some books: Untethered Soul, Eckhart Tolle, A New Earth, The Power of Now. They're all books on how I can be bigger, better, get my mind out of my way, not become a liability to myself, but to become an asset to myself. So every morning, I read a little bit, I journal on what my thoughts are. I just sit and write for a little bit, and then most days I'll do a short meditation. And that's how I start my day, because I know that you are the essence of everything that happens in your life, right? So I want to make sure that me, as Kim, as a being, has every advantage possible. So I will do that routine every day. I work out. I have coaches for everything. I have coaches for fitness. I have coaches for golf. I have business coaches. I have investment coaches. So I often will meet with coaches. Matter of fact, if you are going to undertake any endeavor, I would say find someone who's doing what it is you want to do and go learn from them. And so I'm always seeking out teachers, real teachers who are practicing what they preach and who are doing what I want to do. So my routine is never normal. I travel quite a bit. I have a dog, and she's a cutie. But the most important thing to me is that I keep working on me, and then I go out in the world every day and I practice whatever it is I'm learning. So some of my reading is sometimes business books, and then I go out in the real world and I practice.
Can you imagine yourself as a little girl who all life is yet to come? What you would like to say and wish yourself?
So if I was a young girl, I would say to me, be sure that I live my dreams and not family member's dream, not a husband's dream, not society's dream, but be sure you live your dream and be sure you be true to yourself. And I mean by true to yourself that you live your life according to what's most important to you, what your values are, and not adopt other people's wishes, dreams, values, but be really true to you. For example, when I was 9 years old, my mother said to me, Kim, if you don't want to spend your life in a kitchen, don't learn how to cook. And she also said, at that time we didn't have computers, it was typewriters, and if you don't want to be a secretary, don't learn how to type. And I said, okay, Mom. And really what she was telling me is to not get stuck in a stereotype of what a woman should be. And so I pretty much have lived my life doing what was important to me, following my own path and exploring what it is that interested me. So I didn't want to get stuck in any kind of a role of the way society thinks it should be. And so the more you can live your life according to your own values and what's important to you, and not adopt the values or the dreams of your spouse, of your family, of society, I just think you're going to be so much happier, because then you're living your life as your true, beautiful self.
How to stay feminine being engaged in a business which demands male qualities? What is the balance?
I love this question because I do not think business demands male qualities. Matter of fact, I think just the opposite. I think the world right now is pretty messed up all over. And I'm not blaming men by any means, but just look at who's been in charge over all these years. And right now what I believe is for the world to really make a positive change, that we need to bring more of the women, more of the female energy to business, to politics, to leadership. I am adamant about this, that right now women have a very big role to play, and we need more female role models in all areas of life. And so I would challenge you to step up, to be a role model for other women, young girls, and to take on a leadership role, because that energy, that female energy right now is crucial and it's needed. And too many of us have sat on the sidelines, and now we're in a crisis. We're in a moral crisis, an ethical crisis, a financial crisis, an economic crisis, and it's time, I believe, for we women to step up, to take a much, much stronger role in correcting and turning around these problems and being the solution and having a positive impact in our communities, in our cities, in our countries. I think now is the time for women to step up.
Dear Kim, what saved you when you became became just disheartened in the moments of the despair and doubt?
Ah,
And
I got it.
what gave
Yeah.
you the energy to start and inspire your husband again and again? How did you help to him to gain confidence? What your through words and inner beliefs first to think that you would achieve great success? What trails of characters helped to you to overcome all obstacles?
So what happened to me back in 1985 is I was introduced to different ways of thinking, different ways of looking at the world. I basically took a leap of faith into the world, what I would call, back then it was kind of the new age, but personal development. I had not been involved in it a lot. And so what I did is I started to take on new teachers. But the mistake I made is I gave them all the authority and said, they must be right, I must be wrong. So basically what happened is I started questioning everything. I started questioning every single thing in my life. What did I believe? What are my values? Am I on the right path? I just started questioning everything. And what happened is my entire foundation of beliefs, values, all of that came crumbling down. And with it came my self-esteem. And it was a very difficult time because I'm very positive, I'm very optimistic. I like to have things happen the way that I want them to happen. But at this moment, my self-esteem had been crushed. And I remember actually waking up, going to sleep at night thinking, maybe tomorrow I just won't wake up. I mean, I was at that level. And so finally what happened is I got sick of it. I got so sick and tired of it. And what got me going is I said, I just need to go do something. I need to go do something. Just stop feeling sorry for myself, get off the couch, go do something, get into action. And that made all the difference. And I still use that today. If I have a question or I'm doubting something, it's like, just go take some action, go do something. So what I did is I called my girlfriend who had a clothing line, and I said, let me set up little mini boutiques all around Southern California. And so I set up a few, did a bunch of things there, but what it did is it got me back into action. It showed me that I can succeed, I can win, I do have self-worth, and then from there things just started unfolding in a really, really good way. So the real beauty of doing something, of taking action, the purpose of doing, I used to think if I would do this, then I could have this. But actually the beauty and the purpose of doing is to change the being, is to have me grow so that then I can have whatever I want. So again, the purpose of doing isn't to have, but the purpose of doing is to change my being so that I can have whatever I want.
Have you executed all your great plans which you set for yourself in the past?
So here's how I look at life, and there's a great quote that says, life is either a daring adventure or nothing at all. So I look at life as a daring adventure every day. And what is it I can accomplish today? So every day is an adventure. And for example, right now, my 3 girlfriends, dear friends, we're all entrepreneurs. We got together and we said, hey, what could we do that would be really great for women? And we came up with what we think is the most important thing for women today is to actually, at their very, very deepest core level, to understand what's most meaningful to them. Because I've gone through this process, as has my girlfriends, and from there, magic can happen. Because that gives you a very, very good understanding of who you are at your core level, and then everything emanates from that. So the 4 of us got together, we created an online product that we're gonna launch soon, and we didn't have to do it, but it's an adventure. And we get together and we travel together, and we wanna create something that has the most positive, impactful change for women on the planet, and we think this is it. So we look for new adventures, we create new adventures, because through that, again, comes growth, comes learning, and it makes me alive. So I always look at everything every day as a daring adventure, and I look to see it, where can I take it next?
How much should a person earn to start doing charity?
I don't think there's any figure of when you start doing charity, and I'm talking financial charity. You can always give your time. If you have a lot of time, you get more time. But I've always been a believer, and Robert has too, in tithing or charity. So for example, when we had pretty much nothing, when we had more money going out than was coming in, we still tithed or gave to charity. And this was our formula. With every single dollar that came into our household, no matter where it came from, with every single dollar that came into our household, we took 30% off the top before we paid our bills. And this is hard when you have more going out than is coming in. But the purpose of that is the 30% went into 3 accounts, 10% into a savings account, 10% into an investment account, and 10% into tithing or charity. Because we're big believers that what you give, you will receive. So if you want to smile, give a smile. If you want to punch, throw a punch. And if you want to be wealthy, give money. So there's no figure. And what's exciting is with that strategy, and people say, oh, I can't do that, I got to pay my bills. Well, this is called paying yourself first. And it was our future, our investment future. Our savings really was for emergencies only, and then tithing was our way of giving, and so then we would receive. But the fun thing is how fast those accounts would accumulate. And over time, we still do the same formula, it's just that the percentages are much higher now. So there's no figure as to when you start tithing. I would start giving to charity now. And for you, if you want to do the 3 piggy banks, it doesn't have to be 30% off the top, it can be less. But I would say it has to be something that stretches you a little bit, that's not so easy to do. Because by taking that 30% off the top, it also inspired us to go out and make more money. So again, there's no amount, but I'm a strong believer in charity and tithing, because I do believe that what you give, you do receive. So I believe that, especially for women, defining your values is crucial, because I like to always have my top 10 values, and they haven't changed dramatically over time. They've maybe been tweaked a bit here and there, but by understanding what is really important to me and my true values, then it's easier for me to make decisions, because are they aligned to who I am? Are they aligned to my values? So for example, money has been a value of mine, and the reason money is important to me isn't because I want to just buy nice things and have a big house and all of this, but what is most important to me about money is the freedom to not have to worry about money. So that's really the value. I would say my ultimate value of everything, what's most at my deepest level important to me, is the freedom to do what I want, when I want, where I want, with whoever I want. The freedom to follow my own path. And I think a lot of women are searching for that freedom now. So I want to make sure that I live my life doing what I want to do, when I want to do it. And freedom and independence, that's key. Ever since I was a little kid, riding my bicycle to a soccer game on my own on a Saturday, I knew freedom was important to me. It's why I became an entrepreneur, because I wanted the freedom to run my own business. So your values are really, really important, and decisions and your life path becomes easier once you know and define what your values are, and you live your life according to your values.
What do you expect from your trip to Russia? And I hope I meet you in Moscow in October this year.
So this is my very first trip to Russia, and I am so excited to be coming to your country. What I expect from this trip is a trip of wonder and discovery. I'm looking forward to meeting all the people that I come into contact with. I'll be there with my 3 girlfriends, Lisa, Seal, Rhonda. We're all entrepreneurs, investors, and we're gonna have a fabulous day with women, a fabulous event with the women. And our event is 2 parts. The first part, and I think the most important part, is about you. Who you are, what you truly, truly want, and how to achieve it. That's number 1. And number 2 is the easy part. That's the investing, that's the business building. We'll analyze businesses, we'll analyze investments, but it really starts here. And that's what is most important, because who you are determines how successful you will be. So the more you focus on you, and this is the beauty of these events, is that this is a day and a half of you focusing on you. And so many of us women take on so many roles, we do so many things, that oftentimes we put everybody else first and we put ourselves last. So this is an opportunity for you to put yourself first for a day and a half, focusing on who you are, what do you stand for, what do you really, really want, and then looking at how to achieve it. So the most important thing I'm looking forward to in Russia is to meeting so many wonderful, dynamic women and spending time together, learning together, growing together. Thank you.
What do you expect from your trip to Ukraine?
This is my very, very first time to the Ukraine, and I'm so excited to be coming to your country. I'm expecting a trip of wonder and discovery. I'll be coming with my 3 girlfriends, Lisa, Seal, and Rhonda. We're all entrepreneurs and investors. And I think that what I'm most excited about is our program that we're going to be doing, our women-only program in Ukraine. And I just want to say this, is that we women often take on so many roles of wife, daughter, mother, sister, caretaker, we have so many roles that oftentimes we put everybody else first and we put ourselves last. So this event for women only in Ukraine is a time for you to put yourself first, to focus on who you are, what do you stand for, what is it you really, really want in your life, and then how to get it. That's basically what we're going to be talking about. It's really all about you, what you want, and how to get it. We'll do some of the investment and business things as well, of course. We'll be analyzing businesses and analyzing real estate deals. But most important is you, and focusing on getting clear on the direction where you want to go, on self-confidence, on the courage to make changes in your life. And I'm so looking forward to meeting the wonderful, wonderful women of Ukraine and spending a day with you. So thank you.
What do you expect from your trip to Poland?
I've been to Poland before. I love the city of Krakow, and I'm so excited to be coming back with my 3 girlfriends, Lisa, Seal, Rhonda. We're all entrepreneurs, we're investors, and I think what I'm looking forward to most of all is to meeting the wonderful, wonderful women of Poland and spending a day and a half focusing on you. You know, we women spend so much time taking on so many roles, doing things for so many people, that we oftentimes put everybody else first and we put ourselves last. So this is a time for you to leave all those roles at the door, put yourself first, and focus on who you are, what do you stand for, what are your values, what do you want, truly, truly want in life, and how to get it. And that's what we're going to be doing at this 1.5 day program in Poland. It's all about you. We'll talk about entrepreneurship, we'll talk about investing. That's the easy part. But focusing on self-esteem, on the courage to make changes in your life, to give you a clearer understanding of where you want to go in your life. That's what this program is about. So the most important thing for me, what I'm most excited about, is to meet the women at this program and get to know you and hear about your dreams, your aspirations, your goals, because you're going to find that in this program you're going to meet a lot of like-minded women with similar dreams, similar situations. So I encourage you to come to our program in Poland, and I look forward to meeting you then.